GameRanks presents 5 ways Mafia 3 is a different open world game. Just a little honest disclosure for you guys, 2K invited us to their studio to play 8 hours of the game and record this footage. Just know I'm under no obligation to say the game is good or anything. If that weren't the case, I wouldn't have went. I can, however, share some impressions on this game and how it feels different a few days before our Before You Buy review style video goes live. So let's get started. Starting off at number 5, we have the setting and the time period. This is 1968 in the city of New Bordeaux, modeled after the city of New Orleans in real life. We've had game worlds in southern New Orleans style cities before. We've also had games that take place in the 60s and the 70s before, but it seems like Mafia 3 is aiming for something really specific. Mafia 3's story and characters definitely seem like they could only take place in this specific time and place. You have the Vietnam War ending and veterans coming home and looking for a new place in life. You have racial tensions thanks to the civil rights movement, and you have this new wave of a rise of organized crime thanks to a drug epidemic. And judging from what we've seen, the game does a really good job trying to articulate all that to you, even down to the little details. You hear about the civil rights movement on the radio, you see the assassination of Bobby Kennedy on the TV. You get those glimpses of city life in the late 60s, and you also get that glimpse of that sterile middle-class 1950s style suburbia life in there as well. But so far, where I think Mafia 3 might be the most exciting in terms of its time and place is the music soundtrack. The amount of licensed tracks in this game is pretty crazy. You turn on the radio, you'll hear Creedence, you'll hear Johnny Cash, you'll hear the Rolling Stones, and the list goes on and on. I'm pretty surprised to see how much licensed tracks are here. It's basically comparable with other open world games with radios of the same type. But of course, some of the biggest issues going on in the culture of that time is civil rights and the issue of racial tensions, so let's start off number 4 talking about that. Mafia 3 is attempting to handle race in some subtle and not so subtle ways. While the story itself isn't written completely around racism and racial tension and being a black man in the time, after talking to the writer of the game, it seems like they set out to create a crime story first and foremost. The game design throws subtle things at you while you're playing to remind you of who you are, where you are, in what time period. Imagine a game like Grand Theft Auto or Saints Row where the cops are always looking at you. Their eyes are always trained on you and they're judging you really harshly. That's an actual gameplay element in Mafia 3. Anytime you're near a police officer, they are looking at you. You actually see sightline indicators in the game. Walk through a well-to-do white neighborhood with lots of white people and they may give you disparaging looks on the sidewalk and even shout obscenities at you. One of the more interesting gameplay elements I discovered was when you commit a crime, oftentimes if a civilian sees it, they run to the nearest payphone to call the police on you. In many places, if you commit a crime, someone calls the police are right on you like white on rice instantly. But if you commit a crime in a bad neighborhood and somebody goes to call the police, sometimes the police will show up, sometimes they won't. Sometimes you can have the police called on you for just some slight misstep. It's all very interesting and kind of fascinating to see in motion, and while it's not like a big commentary on today, it does do a great job of showing you just how things were then. But with number 3, let's talk about something a little less heavy, and that is the mission design. Now, of course, as you know, Mafia 3 is an open world game with a map full of things to do. That's what you want in an open world game, right? But what I took away from Mafia 3 is the sense that every single thing you do in the game and in the game world is progressing and contributing towards the main character's mission. You're not going off and doing bowling or going fishing or doing stupid bullshit. Everything you do and pretty much most things you tackle on the map all feel catered to Lincoln Clay's personal mission to become more powerful and take out his rivals. While you're free to go out pretty much anywhere in the city at any time you please and do whatever you want whenever you want, it's all progressing towards a greater goal, and each thing you do single-handedly weakens some aspect of your enemy's power. You want to take out the mob from the inside, so basically you have to systematically dismantle it piece by piece, and some of that is in the side missions and some of the busy work. You're taking out bosses, cleaning out bases, burning weapon caches, interrogating people, tailing informants, progressing through fight clubs to get closer to a target, stealing cars, and a bunch of other fun crime stuff. But it all felt important and meaningful, and I dug that. And at number 2, with Mafia's open world, I did not expect such a strong emphasis and focus on story. It takes a while in the game before you're actually left to your own devices. The intro to this game is a slow burn to really set you up to the world and the characters and what's going on. What I really liked is how the story is told. It's almost like a faux Netflix crime documentary drama type of thing, in which the game kind of bounces back and forth in time with characters older in their life talking about the events of the game in the past. It's really fun because to me it almost seems like they're shaping up Lincoln Clay, the main character, to sort of be this like legendary type of character who did all these crazy things. And then you get to play as him. If you guys played Mafia 3, you probably remember a lot of like memorable action moments and set pieces, and Mafia 3 definitely has those in spades. There's a couple I can't talk about yet without spoiling anything, but they're pretty hilarious and awesome. But what I liked and what I observed is in the open world gameplay structure, some of these moments in the story and cutscenes showing stuff from the present all happen kind of organically. You don't just drive to the next story mission and see a cutscene. These things will actually pop up after you start taking over some territory, or if you kill an important person here and there. Judging from the first few hours, the story has some nice flow to it, and I really hope it goes even further than that. Can the game pull off an actual good video game ending? Time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. And at number 1, one of the things that I thought was the most interesting about Mafia 3's open world is how territories are handled. You're taking over the city with your 3 commanders in charge, Cassandra, Burke, and Vito, who you probably recognize from Mafia 2. He's still really badass. Basically, as you play the game and you knock out missions and side stuff and claim turf for your own, you get to dictate which one of these 3 power players gets to occupy that area with their people. Each little turf within the district of the city can be claimed for your own, and then you place one of these 3 people in there. You get different bonuses for doing so. Then once you progress far enough in the story and maybe take out a key character and get control of that entire district of the city, you have a sit down with your 3 commanders to discuss who gets the ultimate control of the district. The discussion will be completely different depending on who you placed on each little turf territory throughout that time of you trying to take over the district. And to surprise nobody, people who engage in a lot of criminal activity are very easily pissed off. So you, Link and Clay, as the leader, have the final word on who gets the district. This is where the real big bonuses come in. Because say if you pick Vito, it might step on Cassandra's toes. Or if you pick Cassandra, it might piss off Vito. But each one of them have certain perks that you gain, such as different special weapons, more AI characters to call upon to fight for you, bulletproof tires, all different perks that you're gonna want, but it's going to be very tough to decide which ones you want, and in turn hurt and impact and piss off one of the other characters. These sit downs happen often as you take districts, and the more and more you make decisions, you have the potential to piss off one of them. You can piss off one of these 3 commanders to the point where they go rogue, they run off, and they become a new enemy and a new gang to take down in the map itself. But it's incredibly exciting, and it makes for some interesting decisions in this open world game, where a lot of open world games you climb to the top of the tower and burn it down and get the territory for yourself, or you collect all the secret packages or something. Here there's some real weight to your decision, and there's kind of a balance between greed and loyalty. You have to decide on either emotion because you like the character, or just the raw facts of how much money you get or what perks you get. It seems like there's going to be a lot to think about in the world of Mafia 3 besides just shooting dudes in the face. So guys, those are 5 ways we think Mafia 3 is going to be a little different. I definitely recommend sticking around and waiting for the before you buy that we'll put out with some review impressions on the game if you're still a little bit on the fence. Let me know in the comments anything you want about Mafia 3. Did you see anything that you liked in this gameplay that we posted? Hopefully I don't suck too bad in the gameplay, but definitely let me know what you see, what you like, and what you don't like. If you have any more questions, I'll be on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jake Baldino as well. You guys know the deal. Clicking the like button helps us out a ton, and we really appreciate it. And subscribing is a good idea if you're new, because we put out videos like this all the time. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.